Well, surprise, surprise. The same day that Joe Biden launched his 2020 campaign for president, he decided that it was a good time to also hold a massive fundraiser filled with corporate lobbyists and GOP donors. Now, for anyone that's been paying attention to Joe Biden and really the whole American system and how it operates, this should not be surprising. This is what these candidates do. The vast majority of them do this. They have their big donors that gifted their campaign, and then once they attain power, they then have to answer to those big donors because they want to rely on them next time for more money. This is how the system works. And really, only Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and some other smaller candidates right now are challenging that system by holding no private fundraisers whatsoever and are simply relying on individual donors to fund their campaigns. Now, this is also an issue that you won't hear much about on CNN or MSNBC or even Fox News because they share these same donors. So these massive media companies are propped up by advertiser dollars from industries like big pharma, insurance companies, and other massive corporations. This is how they operate. So they are never going to tell you, or they're never going to focus on the issue of money in politics because they are also impacted by the money that they take in. It forms their entire narrative, which is why there isn't this big focus on Joe Biden and his donors, because instead they choose, oh, Joe Biden, the working class guy, he fights for just the average Joe. That's not who Joe Biden is. And before I even get any farther, if you have friends or family who aren't aware of how the political system is broken and who Joe Biden actually works for, share this video with them because I have a lot of data here to show you this is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is simply a tool used by other industries to fight for them. He does not fight for the average person. So let me get into who was at this fundraiser and really who it was hosted by. So this headline here, Joe Biden, net neutrality skeptic to attend fundraiser held by Comcast's top lobbyist. As a senator, Biden took thousands from Comcast employees and did not back bipartisan net neutrality legislation. So, of course, we all know Comcast, America's favorite company, or not. Comcast is actually America's most hated company and is just one of the many lobbyists that were at this fundraiser supporting Biden, but one of many lobbyists in general that support Joe Biden. So let me also give you an idea of who else was there apart from Comcast. So this tweet went out from Holly Otterbein of Politico, so she tweeted this out. One last thing about this. Comcast exec David Cohen hosting Joe Biden's fundraiser has gotten lots of attention. What's gotten less play, but is also notable as 2020 candidates back Medicare for All, is that Independence Blue Cross CEO Dan Hilferty will be there. And this from The Intercept on Dan Hilferty. A member of the Biden host committee is the chief executive officer of Independence Blue Cross. He is on the board of America's Health Insurance Plans, the trade association working to defeat the progressive push for Medicare for All. In national politics, Hilferty has exclusively donated to Republicans this year, records show. The health insurance executive gave $5,000 to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, along with smaller donations to other congressional Republicans. So, this is how the system is rigged. It's not simply about these donors giving to one candidate. No, they give to both sides. Not even just, a number of candidates in the Democratic Party. They give to Republicans as well. That way, by having an attachment to both sides of the debate, they are able to influence the debate from both sides, which is why the actual debate around healthcare is so narrow. I mean, healthcare as one example, but on most of these issues, the debate is so narrow because both sides are funded oftentimes by the same people. So if there is any real movement in terms of, moving left or right on an issue, it's really just a matter of inches. And there aren't any actual real discussions about how the process, whether it's healthcare or whether it's anything else, is inherently rigged from the beginning of the discussion. Simply because the discussion is narrowed because these big donors fund both sides of the argument. Now, this also goes to this obvious point made in this headline from Vox.com. The healthcare industry is betting on Joe Biden in its war against Medicare for All. So this also goes to, what do you expect Joe Biden to do on healthcare. He is already being funded by massive healthcare insurance companies. I mean, when we get to a discussion on improving healthcare costs or lowering healthcare costs, do you really expect your healthcare costs to be lowered if you have President Joe Biden propped up by insurance companies, propped up by big pharma companies? Is that what Joe Biden's going to do? Is he's going to be able to then lower your costs because he got all this money from the insurance industry? No, it's going to go the opposite way. He's going to keep the current system in place as much as he can because of the money that he receives from these massive industries. This is why you haven't seen Joe Biden come out for something like Medicare for All, because there is no chance in hell that Joe Biden would support Medicare for All while he's accepting this kind of money from these healthcare industries. Now, this also goes to the issue of fighting misinformation. So I saw this tweet today and it bothered me because this is reality for a lot of people in America. So I work with a woman, has a pre-existing condition, can't afford high medical bills, can't afford a car, even an air conditioner. Just told me, quote, "I like Joe Biden, don't like Sanders. He thinks prisoners should vote." This is the kind of BS that all of us are consistently up against. Because the mainstream press doesn't focus on issues like Joe Biden's big donors and how that affects policy, you get people that are misinformed and end up voting against their own best interest. This is somebody that has a pre-existing condition, can't afford her medical bills, is being impacted by the private insurance industry and by big pharma. Bernie Sanders is the only candidate right now that is really pushing for a massive shift in that industry. And she doesn't like Bernie Sanders. She likes Joe Biden. Joe Biden funded, again, by the healthcare industry and big pharma and other special interests. Now, Biden's doing all of this while pretending that he's not taking lobbyist cash, which, I mean, is even more disgusting. I mean, it's one thing to be completely corrupted. It's another thing to be completely corrupted and pretend that you aren't. So this is what Joe Biden's doing. Like other Democratic candidates, Biden is launching his presidential bid with a pledge to reject federal lobbyist cash. But the lobbyists attending his Thursday fundraiser are either unregistered or registered with state entities, not the federal system. As The Intercept previously reported, Democratic contenders Beto O'Rourke, Kamala Harris, and Cory Booker have all leveraged the same loophole to collect cash from corporate interests while pledging to eschew funding from federal lobbyists. So it's not just Biden here. Other candidates are doing this as well, pretending that, oh, yeah, I'm not taking any federal lobbyist money. Yeah, but you're taking money from other lobbyists. Why do they have to be federal lobbyists? It's all a game they play so that when they're on the debate stage or when they're asked a question about where they're getting the money from, they can put a line out there saying, oh, I'm not taking any money from federal lobbyists. But they don't give you the full picture of where they are getting their money from. Again, this is how the system works, and you're not going to see the mainstream press point this out because they too receive money in other ways from these industries. Now, let me also just quickly go over some of the other lobbyists that were at this launch fundraiser for Biden, who were also hosting the event. So you have Kenneth Jarin, who works on behalf of a toll road operator and for-profit healthcare interests. This person also gave to Republicans. You have Alan Kessler, lobbyist for many clients, including American Airlines. You have former Philadelphia Mayor Michael Nutter, senior advisor to a lobbyist group, also on the board of a toll road company. And Biden's campaign coordinator, Steve Ricchetti, is a former lobbyist as well. Now, I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. This information needs to get out to more people. That's really what this is about. We can't be stuck in our echo chamber talking to people who already know these things, already understand that Biden is completely corrupted. You have to share videos like this with friends and family, and not just my videos, other channels as well that talk about these issues. Share these videos with people that don't know this, for people that maybe only watch MSNBC or CNN or Fox News and don't understand how the system works. You have to share these videos around. You have to get this message out because, as I told you, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News are not going to discuss these issues because it directly impacts their own advertisers.